Hello, moms. Great to be with you this morning. I get to interview my friend Bruna today, and I can't wait for you to hear from her. Bruna, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Substance Moms. Thank you for having me, Sarah.
You're welcome.
I am Bruna. I've been married to my husband, Dago. We've been together for 15 plus years. We have two beautiful boys, Oliver and Henry, and we've been going to Substance for 8 years now, more recently to Westside.
I love it. And we've been friends for quite a few of those years.
Yes.
I remember we met when our husbands were doing the Fathers for the Fatherless ride, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a while ago. So.
You came into my life at a very important time. We can talk more about that later. But I'm just grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, tell us a little bit about what God's been speaking to in your life these days.
God has been speaking to me about seasons of life. The highs, the lows, and the in-betweens, which I feel like is the season that I am in right now, the in-between season.
Yeah, I'd say I'm in the in-between season too, and probably many of you guys are as well, so I'm kind of excited to dive into this. Let's start with the lows. Maybe you could share a little bit about how you would describe a low, and then maybe an experience you've had.
The lows for me look like the darkest valley moments. For me, it was 5 years ago. I was in pain with chronic anxiety, and I was just feeling lost. And then I was diagnosed with an aggressive type of cancer when I was pregnant, 7 months pregnant with my little one, Henry. And I've witnessed miracles, I've witnessed God's power through it all, but it was still a very dark place to be.
Yeah. What were some of the feelings that you were experiencing when you find out you have cancer, you're pregnant? I mean, those are a lot of decisions you have to make. Just even your own emotions. Can you share a little bit about that?
It looked like me face to the ground on the bathroom floor, just asking God, can I please live long enough so my boys will remember me, so my parents and my husband don't have to mourn me just not being here anymore. And in that moment, I remember taking a good look at myself. And that looked like a body that was broken, a mind and spirit that were broken as well, but a failing body with a lot of scars, bald head, looking in the mirror, and I felt like I had to make a choice, a decision, and in how I asked God, who am I, and what do you want me to do? And for the first time in my life, Sarah, in 30 plus years, that's the first time in my life that I was really open to listening, because I had been stripped down of everything else. And I was given the choice to spend the rest of whatever time I had left feeling sorry for myself or feeling saved. And salvation wins over sorrows 100% of the times.
Amen. That's so beautiful. Feeling sorry for yourself or choosing to feel saved. I think I'm going to tuck that away to remember when I'm struggling. But I just want to acknowledge that I can't imagine what you went through, and I'm just so sorry that you had to go through that. And I just praise God that He pulled you through. So let's move on from the lows to the highs. So talk about the high, maybe a high in your life, and explain that a little.
So the high was, I had just finished cancer treatment, and I was experiencing God restoring not only my health, my physical body, but touching every single area of my life. That's when I felt so bold and beautiful and courageous and generous, and I could see God's hands like just shifting my mindset and the way that I lived my marriage, my relationships. There was freedom.
Wow.
And that looked like dancing on in the living room by myself, driving windows down, just worshiping God. That's what it looked like. Like spirit is on fire. I'm sure, I hope we've all been there because it's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a place that we'd love to be
Yeah.
and stay.
Yes.
But what's interesting is it came after the low. You know, like
Yeah.
so often our perspective just shifts and so powerful.
Yes.
So what about the in-between stages then? So you've had significant lows, a significant high experience, but we know that we don't usually live in either one of those all the time.
Right.
What about the in-between stages for you? What is, like, share a little bit about your experience or your perspective on that.
So the in-between seasons, I feel like that's where maybe most of motherhood is, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of that mundane, repetitive, doing things over and over. It's the laundry, it's the dishes, it's like taking the kids here and there. Yeah. And some days it may feel like when people ask me how I am, I feel like I don't have anything terrible to share, and I don't have anything terrific to share, right? It's just kind of blah. And what I'm learning in this season is that what if the in-betweens hold as much power as the highs and the lows in our lives?
Yeah.
And through that, there are struggles, temptations, and also an invitation to the in-between season. So that's what I would like to talk about.
Yeah. Share about the struggles. Like, what struggles do you go through in those in-between kind of blah moments of life and motherhood?
When I'm in the in-between season, I start doubting. I start doubting my path and my pace. And I'm thinking, God, I thought I was supposed to be here. Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
I started to feel guilty because I know of the abundance, the blessings, the countless blessings of my life. But if I'm honest, I don't always feel sincere in my gratitude for them. And I start feeling a bit insecure as well about God's love. And asking God, are we still best friends? God? And I start looking for distractions. I start getting busy, just looking for those mini doses of dopamine that for me look a lot like checking off to-do lists or consuming and scrolling. And the tricky part is that never ends.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't satisfy us.
Right.
It doesn't sustain us. So so then I feel like there's this temptation that I get into. The temptation is to ask God to soothe me when I'm feeling bored.
Interesting.
God, can you soothe me when I'm feeling a little bit numb and blah? And that's the beauty of the in-between. That's when I feel like God is telling me, child, I'm not your pacifier. God is comfort. God is beautiful in comforting us. But sometimes in this season, I feel like he's telling me, I am not your pacifier. I'm your peace. I'm not your pacifier.
Yes.
I'm your peace.
Very different.
And with this temptation of seeing God as my pacifier, and with the struggles of the in-betweens that I talked about, I feel like a lot of times it looks like rejection. But here is the thing that I want to share. What if it's actually an invitation, Sarah, an invitation for us to experience the mystery, the true mystery of God in those in-between seasons, to practice how to live with the unknown, and to actually trust that God is within us in the in-between seasons and in each and every season.
Yeah. Going from a place of my life feels blah, God, where are you, all the way to, oh, you're inviting me in. You're inviting me closer. You're inviting me to experience your peace. You're inviting me to trust you more. You're inviting me into a space that doesn't need the high to have intimacy with you. Like,
Yes.
There's so much power in that. And I love that. I feel freedom right now talking about this, because this is the stage we all live in. We live in this in between. And so if our deepest intimacy with God and the only time that we experience peace is in the highs, we'll miss out on so much of what he has in store for our everyday.
I believe in that too.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So how do you personally find beauty? I know we only have a couple minutes left, but how do you find beauty in these in-between stages? What do you do?
Yeah, that's the good part, and I think it's lessons from all the other seasons of life, right? It's basically, for me, it looks like doing two things on repeat that sound simple, but honestly can be very hard to do on a daily basis. So number one for me is to create space for God. And that's led by intention, not feeling. And number two is, once I start nurturing that space, to make good choices. What I think we tell our kids every day, and I tell myself, make good choices, Bruna. Make good choices. Choose who is leading me. That's God. Yeah. Choose who I'm spending time with. Choose how I'm investing my time to have more margin. And less distractions, right? Choosing to be present in the ordinary moments with the people I love the most, choosing how I nourish my body and my mind, and choosing how I protect my peace so I can go back to creating more space for God, and then it becomes this flow that allows us to witness more of God's beauty in the in-between season, and I think in every season of life.
Yeah. So really you're just choosing your mindset, what you focus on, and making sure that you have time with the Lord. And I'm so thankful that can look different in so many ways, right?
Yeah.
Different spaces, different places. It looks different for all of us, and I just appreciate that, because you may have little babies, you may have a teenager. We're all in different places, but if we can still create that space and fix our mind on God, but we need it.
We need it.
Yeah. Well, is there anything that you want to wrap up with and share with the ladies before we close?
I did prepare a gift for the Substance Moms. It's a playlist with songs that I think speak to this topic, and hopefully it speaks to you as well as you work on creating more space with God and finding the beauty in this in-between season.
Yeah, wonderful. That playlist you'll find next to the discussion notes as you, right where you found this video too. So thank you, Bruna. You are a gift to our community. And if you ever see Bruna, ask her more about her testimony, because it is powerful. God's doing miracles in her life continuously. So, all right. Love you all.